And he went on and on. I heard nothing else he said. That's all I heard. I was just in complete shock. At the time, I was a new believer, and I grew up in a Christian home, but I had come to faith later on in life, personally. But I was afraid. I was afraid of the professor. I was afraid of what he said. I was afraid of what he would say later on. So I did something I will regret for the rest of my life. I dropped the class. I dropped the class. Now, why did I do that? One word. I was a coward. I was a coward. Anyway, that event changed how I see religion, how I see faith, and how it integrates with the reasoning ability of my life. It changed how I think. And now, I don't drop classes anymore. And I hope you won't drop me from your mindset as we continue this process. This is not an atheist bashing session, as somebody indicated to me. Rather, it would help us atheists and Christians and Muslims and Jews and Sikhs and others to think clearly and effectively about the issues of life. And that is the whole purpose of the Socratic project. And I will be as fair as I can, but I will be critical. What is atheism? Any good philosophical discourse will first define its terms. So, what is atheism? Atheism comes from the Greek prefix a, which is in the word for amoral or atypical or asymmetrical. It's a negation. So a theist or a theos is one who believes in God. An atheist is one who denies belief in God or says, I don't believe in God or there is no God. There are different meanings of this word as it has evolved throughout history. Many people have called anyone who disagreed with them in their version of God an atheist. The early Greeks called the Christians atheists, and the Christians called the Romans atheists, even though they all believed in some form of God. It was more of a derogatory term, meaning ungodly, impious, and pejorative in its analysis. Many new atheists have tried to redefine the word atheism as they understand it to be. The classic atheists would say that God doesn't exist, but the more thoughtful atheists will not say that. Because how can you prove for sure that there is no God? So they have backed away from that definition and said, well, what the definition is more lack of belief in God, was what they'll tell us. I don't not believe in God, they'll say I lack belief in God. I don't buy that definition. Lacking belief is not only illogical, it doesn't make sense. Believing in something is a belief. And believing there is no God is a belief, like it or not. It's not a lack of belief. Take, for example, if I said to you, I do not have a belief that there are bags of diamonds underneath your chair. That does not tell us anything on whether there are bags of diamonds underneath your chair. It only tells us that I have a belief about it. It is a belief that there are no diamonds under your chair, or is it a belief that I don't believe that there are diamonds under your chair? It's kind of tricky. Either way, it's a belief. So this new definition is more of a psychological state than it is a truth about the world. Having a lack of belief in God, again, is a belief. A rock, a newborn baby, an elephant would be an atheist on this definition, because they all lack belief in God. So it doesn't work. I don't think it works. But it is not up to me to defend this definition. It's up to the new atheists who propound it to defend it, and I'll give them that leeway to do that. One of my friends in the UK, Pauline, pointed out to me that there is a subtle difference between believing that there is no God, which I agree is a disbelief, and a lack of belief, which to me indicates a position where the person is saying that he has not found sufficient evidence to form a belief, but does not necessarily reject that belief. If that is the case, then the person is not an atheist, but an agnostic. An agnostic. Agnostic, again, Greek negation, gnostic meaning knowledge, lacking knowledge. So an agnostic is one who doesn't want to affirm God exists, but doesn't want to disaffirm it, or say God doesn't exist. Somewhere in between. He simply does not know. So instead of calling yourself an atheist, if you want to hold on to the lack of belief position, wouldn't it be more academic and more honest to just say, I'm an agnostic? Just a thought there. There's so much more to say about this. And I recommend you read a journal article called The Definition of Atheism. It's in the Journal of Religion and Society, Volume 11, 2009. It's called The Definition of Atheism by Paul Coulter. There are many kinds of atheists, many kinds. But for now, I'll just break it down to three. The strong atheist is the one who outright denies the existence of God. It is the absolute categorical denial of the absolute. There are traditional atheists who believe this. There are some nuances about this, but overall, Jean-Paul Sartre, Albert Camus, Friedrich Nietzsche, Karl Marx, Bertrand Russell, to name a few. Number two, the second type of atheist, the modern atheist. The modern atheists, like Richard Dawkins, Daniel Dennett, Samuel Harris, will call themselves humanists. They'll say they're naturalists. That is, they hold to a belief or research paradigm that excludes any teleological, theological, or supernatural explanation for elucidation of the phenomena in the universe. It assumes that the best explanations are non-causal, non-purposive explanations, ultimately grounded on the physical causes of the world. Moreover, if anything cannot be explained by the machinery of the hard sciences, like consciousness, morality, love, beauty, then it is a mystery waiting to be solved, is epiphenomenal, or doesn't exist. Some claim to come across as strong atheists, like Richard Dawkins, but if you push them on it, they're more agnostics. They'll say they don't know for sure. Then there's a third one, the indifferent atheist. So I mentioned the strong atheist, the modern atheist, and then the indifferent or the superficial atheist. He does not care one way or another if there's a God. He'd rather have his Guinness, play his video games, and go shopping. He lives his life oblivious to God or spiritual things. He identifies himself as a secular or free thinker or an, quote, other, when he has to check what he is on a religion form. Did you know there are some countries in the world where you are required to list your religion on the passport? The atheist doesn't know what to put, so he puts other. A lot of them do, if there is such a thing in some countries. He reads only books and articles that agree with his political, sexual, or philosophical position. Now, sometimes, those are the three. Now, sometimes you'll find the angry atheist. Those who not only not believe in God, but are angry at God for some reason or another. C.S. Lewis, one of my favorite authors, was one of these. He was a strong believer in God, and at the age of 9, lost his precious mother to a deadly sickness. He prayed day and night for her to be healed, and she was not. And here's what he said later on in his biography. With my mother's death, all settled happiness, all that was tranquil and reliable, disappeared from my life. We need to ask these angry and hurt atheists, how could you be so angry at something that you don't believe exists? But this is not all atheists, of course. Some are more cognitive in their reflection and they think deeply about it. Okay, let's continue the process here.